Shiny object syndrome. So on my way to get $100,000, obviously there was temptations to, do other things and do other business models while I was trying to make wholesale real estate work. But I didn't really feel a next level of shiny object syndrome until I started to make money doing what I was doing. Because, right, wholesale real estate. Because once I started making money, now I was like, okay, how can I make more money? How can I use this to put it in other places and And it first started with me trying to add a JV branch to my business. Like, instead of just letting it be organic the way it has, all my JV deals, I was actually implementing and creating a system of like how to get, process, and dispo JV deals, which had its own category of problems, right? It had its own category of issues, very different than dispoing your own deals when you're wholesaling real estate. But I don't regret it. The more you fail, the more you learn, right? Everything I do, it's not a failure, it's an attempt, as David Goggins would say. But I mean, I had shiny object syndrome about the JV thing. Then there was novations, and then there was hiring people, scaling too fast. The point is, I didn't really start seeing real shiny object syndrome until I got what I wanted, which is usually, it happens. I can tell you it's common, but most people experience shiny object syndrome before they get what they want, right? They try something halfway and then they say, oh, this doesn't work. Let me go try that. Well, in my case, it was, I eliminated that crap and I was like, I'm going to do this until it works. And then once it started working, then I was like, okay, what else can I do and add on top of it to make it work even more? When really I could have just kept doing the thing and just quantified that thing instead of adding a new JV division or, adding a new marketing channel or something like that. If something works, stick to it and just double down on it. And one thing I saw in scaling too fast. That's one problem I came across when I was, starting to make money and trying to scale, is like I was scaling too fast, right? And I didn't know what people meant by that until now, right? But like I said, it's all lessons. So even though I hired and fired a few people, turn and burn, I still learned a lot of lessons. There's specifically one guy I learned from the most. He was the only one who gave me pushback when I tried to, let him go. And that was the first time I ever experienced that. So shiny object syndrome will take you through, new lessons, right? It'll take you down different paths, right? But just make sure you follow through with them. So one thing I'm still following through on is the hiring and firing process. That's one thing I will not let go of. I did learn a lot of things from the JV, right? I tried to add JVing as a marketing channel and create a system and a process for acquiring them and dispoing them. It's a whole nother business model. It really is, versus just getting your own deals. And then there's the shiny object syndrome of wanting to have multiple marketing channels when you're barely even making one work, right? So if you guys have, a few marketing channels, if you're doing Zillow and you're doing cold callers and you're doing text blasting and you're doing PPL and PPC, okay, maybe you need to calm down and like try one of them and see if one of them works. I just want to make this video about shiny object syndrome and just give some wisdom. Some wisdom that I've learned over these past, it's been like 6 months, 8 months that I've been like dealing with these new things, right? Because I already know how to make $20,000 a month for free, right? From wholesaling real estate. I just know how to make $20,000 a month, period. And then as I, got comfortable with that and I became skilled, there's these new opportunities, these new windows, right? And the more I started to get sidetracked with other new shiny objects in wholesale real estate, it started to take away from YouTube and it started to take away from coaching, right? Shiny object syndrome is very careful. You have to be able to recognize it. You have to be self-aware enough to recognize when you're like, that's a new thing, right? Then you have the discernment to say, is this new thing going to bring me closer to where I want to be? Or is it just some cool new thing that I want to try? All right, there's no right or wrong answer to that. It's just I'm learning, like, as you go throughout life, there is no right or wrong answers. The only right or wrong answers there are is what is according to your belief, your moral alignment, whatever that is. That's the only right and wrong. Other than that, this world is very subjective and relative. So there is no right or wrong, and there's nuances to everything, and there's a gray area to every black and white. But as you're leveling up, right, if you're trying to get your first wholesale deal, stick with one thing, stick with one marketing channel. Once you make the marketing channel work, right, double down on it. Don't try to start a new marketing channel, right? Get it to like at least $100,000 or something from one marketing channel. Yeah, and whenever you go into something new, just be prepared to know, like, this is a new thing with a new set of challenges, a new set of obstacles, a new set of frustration, stress, difficulties, all these things, right? Every road has its own difficulties. So be intentional about the path you choose, right? Are you going to do PPC? Are you going to do PPL? Or are you going to do cold calling? Or are you going to do Zillow? Which one, right? And if you are, go deep dive into those even more. Keep going down that rabbit hole. What are the metrics for each one that I need to achieve, right? And then once you achieve the certain goals or get those results, double down on it, and then automate it. That's what I messed up at. Instead of trying to automate what I had that was working, I tried to add something new. I had to build it out. I had to build a new system. I had to figure it out. I had to hire people. I had to pay people. I blew a lot of money trying something new, when really I could have just spent all that time and money and energy and effort into automating. Because one thing I also realized is that I got good at sales, right? I got good on the phones. I got good at closing wholesale deals. Well, I thought that if I just had a script and a course, that I could hire an acquisition manager and put them in there, right? I thought this like 6 months ago. I don't think this anymore. But I thought I could just hire somebody, put them in the seat, kind of give them the gist, give them the rundown for 1 or 2 days. They got the script and they do their thing and they do what I was doing. Well, that's not the case. Because when you hire somebody to replace you, now you just created a new job position for yourself, which is trainer. You're a trainer and a manager now. And that's one thing I maybe wish I could have spent more time and energy on instead of the JV thing at first. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret anything, and I'm glad that I got all the knowledge that I did. Doing that JV stuff really taught me a big lesson about working with other wholesalers. There's a lot more things that you have to do to protect yourself when you're dispoing someone else's deal. I learned a few lessons the hard way like that. But yeah, just remember, like, when it gets good or when it gets easy and it's time for you to delegate, it doesn't mean that it's automated. It just means it's delegated. You put somebody in the seat. Now you got to train them, right? Then maybe down the line I have a training system, or eventually down the line you hire a trainer, you hire a manager, to do it for you. And that's how the business grows, right? So instead of like going up and up and up, as I started to make more money, I started seeing different things. I was like, let me make money this way. Let me make money that way too. When really I just could have kept going deeper, scaling what I had, which is what I'm doing now. And I learned a lot. I've grown a lot through it, and we are getting better. We got some killers on the phone, but I just wanted to share some of these mistakes. Hopefully you guys get some value out of it, and could apply it to your own life, whether that's in wholesale real estate, sales, business, or whatever, or just life in general. If you got any value out of this, make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, because I'm trying to drop weekly videos. Really, every other day I'm trying to drop a video about wholesale real estate, self-improvement, and just life in general. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about, or what else you guys want to see. Do you guys want to see more cold call videos? Because I've been making a lot of cold calls. I haven't been recording them though. And my team makes cold calls as well. So you want to see cold calls videos? You want to see more vlogs? I don't know. I'm just going to keep uploading videos every other day. And if I see a comment of a suggestion and I like it, I'll do it. So comment what you want to see. All right, peace.